With that ominous silent opening, it can only mean one thing. The flagship news show of the week, Ryder's Rasslin review, featuring the insights of the big bad wolf himself, Mr. J.R. Ryder. We'll be back with Morris. He's just coming from a very big show, in a very successful show, and he's going to tell us all about it. But before we get into the news items of the week in this quick weekend edition, Mr. Ryder, how are things down in the Sunshine State?
Things are delightful down in the Sunshine State. It's a beautiful day out. At 82, we're going to head down the beach shortly and get some sun in the sand down there. Look at some pretty girls.
Nice. Well, I certainly am jealous for that. It's starting to get cold as per the tradition up here in the Great White North, but there's a lot of controversy to talk about in this show with respect to WWE and how they're managing some of their business. I'll start off before we tag Morris in with this story about Ridge Holland, and I really wanted to discuss this with you and get the audience commentary on it as well. He is an individual who was getting a bit of a main roster push, but then was involved in the situation with Big E where he got hurt, and last month was working a TNA house show against Moose and fractured his foot, I believe it was, and it's been announced, or he announced, that he was being his contract would expire in November, and they would pay for his rehabilitation, but he would not be getting any sort of compensation moving forward. And in other words, the controversy lies in the fact that people are saying, the prior WWF regime, Mr. McMahon, for example, would have kept a guy on while he healed up and gave him a source of income while he could not work because he's going to need surgery, rehabilitation, et cetera, et cetera. What are your thoughts on this situation from a guy that was in the company for that many years? You must have seen guys injured and then dealt with.
I always told him to take care of the guys that got hurt. I even remember Matt Morgan, big Matt Morgan. He got hurt on Tough Enough, and they took care of him, paid all his surgery, and still signed him after the fact. So the guys got heat probably from the Big E incident, I would imagine. And he got knocked down to NXT. They never really used him after that, very rarely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine he's got some heat, which is a shame. I never heard a bad word about the guy. I mean, Big E landed on his own head. That wasn't his fault. Just bad luck. He probably got a bad ghost hanging over him now because of it. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's Tony Khan, for example, is put over a lot for really taking care of talent and paying them often, some of the cases that we can think of for years before letting them go if they did, and that of course is something that the fans really appreciate. Do you think the WWE is looking a little with their massive and another story we're going to talk about with their massive profit margins on everything these days? Do you think it's a bad look for them to not treat a wrestler a little with a little more compassion?
They don't care. They're a corporate machine now. And when Vince was there, he cared. These guys don't even care about the WWE. They just care about the profits.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just another company to them. They couldn't care less.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Joining us now is the man who is just coming from a very successful show in Castle Comer. Can you tell us all about how it went down, Morris? Things looked to be very well organized in some of the photos that you shared.
Yes, unfortunately, the hometown hero got screwed out of the main event, though, guys, by a guy he thought he could trust. We've seen it before. We've seen it happening, but we did get new tag team champions. But that was more shenanigans by a couple of dodgy individuals. We had three titles on the line, one title change, an intergender trick or sweet match, which went down very well. And overall, everyone went home happy, getting to meet all the good guys at the end and photo ops. Everyone's happy. We're leaving it now for this year. everybody's going to be focusing on Santa Claus, and we'll come back next year with a brand new show, February or March. That's the plan.
Awesome. How did the crowd respond to the show? It looked like you had not to use the old phrase, but it looks like they were hanging from the rafters in the hall there. Did they appreciate the show as much as, because I know the previous two were very well received in that regard?
Yeah, they were a bit disappointed with obviously the main event, but then the kids kind of got to meet all the good guys at the end, and that kind of glossed it over for them, you know. But there's more stories to be told. The good thing I like about this wrestling promotion is all three shows have led into each other, and this show will lead into the next one in 2025 as well. So I like that.
I'm a little shocked that you let Shenanigans go down. Being I thought that you were going to be the ringside enforcer. Were you busy when that happened, and just not able to get out there and kick some arse, or what happened there?
There was too much going on. Approximately 8 people interfered and got chased out here and there and everywhere. And then the guy we thought was coming to save the day proved to be the villain in the end. So I didn't see it coming. I couldn't get out of my seat fast enough.
Well, fortunately, with the success of these 3 shows, there will be more, and we'll continue to discuss them on the channel. Mr. Ryder and I were just discussing how Ridge Holland is being basically let go during the period of time that he's injured. Now, they are paying for his broken foot, but do you share the view, Morris, that this new TKO entity, because a lot of fans online are upset because Vince McMahon would have taken care of this guy, and it doesn't seem like TKO has the same sort of predilection. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think how many guys that are there now are disposable? Probably all but maybe 3 to 4. That's the nature of how it's going to go. I think they won't get rid of Roman, Cody. Who else? Randy Orton. That's the 3rd, and I'm struggling to find a 4th maybe that could be saved there.
Mm-hmm.
Sheamus, because he's friends with Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Becky Lynch can do whatever she wants as well.
Becky and Seth, possibly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like how we all got the memo for the black T-shirts today.
Oh, yes.
Totally random.
We're all coming from Mass because it's a Sunday.
Need to get some more of that original Cheap Heat logo merch. Get some shirts and some maybe some golf shirts printed up. I like that logo a lot. In terms of the next story, which kind of bleeds into or emanates as well in theme from the first story. Have you been watching this deal with Andrade? Apparently, he was let go and was free to sign with any other company. Then he signed with AEW, debuted, beat up Kenny Omega, big high profile spot. Well, now apparently there's legal action afoot because he is subject, according to TKO WWE, and I've never heard of this before, but a 1-year non-compete.
Whoa.
A 1-year non-compete where he cannot work in anything to do with pro wrestling, even MMA, boxing. He's beat in terms of making a living. And the reason they're using this is something Stevie Richards broke down in great detail in his show about a clause that a justification clause. Basically, they're arguing because of behavior that was not consistent with company policy. They're invoking this just cause clause and saying that he's on the shelf for a year. They're saying that at one point it was violation of wellness policy imperatives. I don't think that's ever been nailed down, but Richards points out quite rightly that this could be used and abused by the company. What do you start with you, Mr. Ryder? What do you make of a 90 days are pretty much the industry standard to take steam off anybody that may have been on their TV, but a year, my goodness.
Non-competes are now illegal in the United States. still probably the one thing that Joe Biden did correctly. So I don't know how they're gonna hold that up in court. That's gonna get thrown out immediately. You can probably get 90 days, but they're not getting a year. And I've had non-competes in my business too, and they don't hold up. So they're not going to win that one. doesn't have a leg to stand on. They fired the guy. He's got a right to make a living. There's no other skill set there. They can't tell him he can't eat. So they're going to get on TV in a week.
Did he not read the contract? Did it say that in his contract? It obviously must have. Whether it's illegal or not, he should have known, or maybe he tried to fight it before he ventured over.
Either or, they're not enforceable anymore. So they can try, and they can have whatever just cause they want, but they're not going to. It's not going to stick. No judge will let that stick.
God bless President Biden.
Especially not. It's going to go probably. I would think. Where's I guess AEW's they're located in Jacksonville. I guess they'd be. Yeah, they're not. Zero chance that's sticking in the state of Florida.
Mr. Ryder, one of the long-standing debates that is interesting, and again, you know better than anybody, is a pro wrestler, even on the WWE stage, is allegedly an independent contractor, and I know they fought that many times and seem to lose, which I don't understand. But isn't it clear they are really independent contractors? And this is outrageous that they can say for a year you have no way to make a living. Like, I'm really surprised that hasn't been legally sorted out yet. Are you?
I'm not surprised by it. And we always, when you start there as an extra, every time you're there, you have to sign a new contract for the day and a waiver that if you got hurt, they weren't responsible. And after time, they just stop having. After you've signed 100 of them, they don't care anymore. But I don't understand the point of the 1 year. I don't know what, if you don't want the guy, I'd want him to be on the other TV show so everybody would change the channel.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're worried about that guy for. Of all the people that gone over there, you think it'd be Edge or Christian or one of them. No. Andrade? No. The guy couldn't draw flies and he was a pile of shit. He's terrible. So I don't know why they hate him so much.
Speaking of Jacksonville, rest in peace to Sam Rivers from Limp Bizkit, who passed away yesterday at the age of 48.
I saw that.
He had health problems, correct?
He had a liver transplant before, and I think that he may have got cancer in the liver, is what's being said. So he definitely had a liver transplant in mid-2015, I think.
Do you remember Fred Durst hitting Steve Corino with the chair? So Corino's buddies with those guys too. So rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, very young. In terms of their business model, which doesn't seem to be losing steam, they're being WWE. Have you heard about how John Cena's WWE match, the final match, has blown up Ticketmaster and it's breaking the resale market? I'll give you some information. It said that when tickets went on sale for December the 13th for the main event, more than 45,000 fans were in the virtual Ticketmaster queue, and that is beyond what the facility, the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. At one point, it reached 60,000 people, almost 3 times the capacity of Capital One Arena, and that the high demand is really driving up the markets for the cheapest seats being $300 US and rising, and they really haven't even confirmed Cena's final opponent yet, although word is that it's Gunther. But my goodness, no wonder they're charging what they're charging if this sort of thing.
Ticketmaster and TKO, a match made in heaven. Extremely high prices matched with Ticketmaster dynamic pricing due to supply and demand. You're getting bent over by 2 companies at once.
At the Capitol Center, I'm going to tell you, I wrestled there many times. 16,000 people, I think it holds, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. About the same size.
And it'll probably break a fucking WrestleMania gate from 20 years ago with 180 or 80 or 100,000 people there. It probably will.
We'll see what they do. But they probably have TVs outside and everything on that one. But good for John. I'm glad for John. He's always been a gentleman. He's never, well, he's probably buried a lot of guys, but he's never buried me, so I can't say a word about the guy.
Mm. I don't think he holds any blame in this.
No,
No.
definitely not. How much were the tickets for the front row of the show today?
€15.
So there you go. Support independent wrestling, folks. I'm gonna say it till we're blue in the face, because this is clearly an organization that only cares about profit and squeezing every last drop out of the fan base. Which again, I was shocked when I read this that the demand would be that high, but I guess it is a history-making event.
The problem is that if people keep paying the prices, well, that's just going to keep happening. So people, don't be going to events. I bumped into a guy the other day that was telling me him and his friend purchased two €650 John Cena tricolor titles at the SmackDown Live event in Dublin.
Why?
€650.
I'm assuming that match, his last match, will be for the Intercontinental title. Either he's going to win it or he's going to drop it, but something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. When he beats Sturdy Dom. Speaking of history that has been made, I don't know if you guys saw the final match at the TNA show between the Dudley Boys, Team 3D, and the Hardys. The Hardys won the match. It was a good match, I would say. Jeff Hardy finished off Devon by a swanton through a table, but you can see he protected him, because I guess Devon had some pretty significant health problems the last few years with his back and everything. But talk about the end of an era. The only missing component there would have been Edge and Christian. But I know, Morris, you're a big Attitude Era guy into the 2000s. Really, I don't think we're going to see tag team action like those three teams put on for a while. What are your thoughts? Did you see the match?
Yeah, I did, definitely. And I actually kind of liked the ending. It was a little bit like the Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair thing, wasn't it? At WrestleMania. I think it was a nice way for them to end. And, I'm sure they're going to have long-standing careers in the wrestling business, not wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bubba's going to be a producer now of a WWE, and Devon's already there. They're both there in the clique, and they got their podcast, and they're doing fine. I texted Bubba after the match. It's a great finish, buddy. Very well done. I just got back a thanks, man, with exclamation points. So,
nice.
I'm sure his phone was exploding left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Always a gentleman, always a good guy. People always used to tell me he was a bully and an asshole. One of the funniest guys in the locker room. I've never understood why people don't like him.
Bully Ray.
I've never understood why they don't like him. It makes no sense to me.
Well, maybe because he when for the majority of their career he was a heel, and anytime that I interacted with him at TNA shows or whatnot, he was in character. He wasn't. I respect that, because he wasn't out there signing autographs when he was the heavyweight champion at TNA. He was Bully Ray. Fans would ask for, "Can I have an autograph?" And he's like, "No." So I'm a fan for sure, and definitely some of the great moments in modern-esque tag team wrestling, aside from the golden era of the 80s and Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, all that good stuff, Road Warriors, definitely the Hardys and Team 3D, the Dudley Boys are there. Yeah. Morris, you must be all over this story, though. Chris Jericho, people are saying he's going to be back in the WWE at the Royal Rumble for a last great run and Hall of Fame induction. They're saying that he announced his wrestling, rock and wrestling Rager at Sea cruise in for November 7th to the 11th. I can't imagine a place I would rather not be than a cruise with a bunch of wrestling fans. But anyway, no AEW talent is on it. No mention of AEW on his social media. And Alvarez and Mr. Meltzer are saying that they're expecting that. And Dave says here, if he's not back on AEW television by January, I think people are going to kind of figure that part out, saying as usual, the blatantly obvious, as Dave does. He's been ready for a couple of months and then nothing happened. Tony's probably not bringing him back and probably figures he's going to WWE. The contract, though, expires in January, and Jericho's been mum on it. But what do you guys think? That would be best for business, correct?
Yeah, I think it's an awful shame that it seems that AEW and Chris Jericho are after having a falling out, and obviously Tony seemingly is not going to let him use any of the talent now on the cruise. And let's not forget that Jericho was the one name that got everybody hooked to AEW at the start. So I think if it is what it seems like, a bad breakup, let's just say it's bad. But I was looking on his Twitter or his Instagram page the other night, and everybody was saying, please come back and wrestle John Cena. And he was liking all the comments, Chris Jericho, that reference John Cena or anything to do with WWE. So I think it's a foregone conclusion. But at the end of January, Royal Rumble season, that seems like when it's going to happen contractually. So we'll wait and see what happens. Hopefully it happens before then. But I'm sure Tony is not going to give him an early break.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if the Jericho's countdown hits during the Royal Rumble, the place will go crazy.
Not really. It's in Saudi Arabia.
As big a pop as when the Hardys came back. It'll be massive.
Even in
the Rumble's in Saudi. Is it Saudi Arabia this year or next year? It's Saudi Arabia.
This year.
Yeah.
This year.
They're going to ruin his return by a bunch of people who have no idea who he is. All right, so they're going to pipe in a bunch of sound, making it sound like it was a big deal.
It's a shame.
Yeah, I think
Jericho might not do the Rumble if it's in Saudi Arabia, knowing Jericho's.
I think he will.
Conservative can be. He might tell him to get bent.
I think there'll be a good payday there if he comes back at the Royal Rumble, Saudi Arabia.
Yes, Saudi Arabia is interesting. If you look at some of the this recent Riyadh comedy festival with a bunch of comedians that were such as Bill Burr, who I can't stand, were going on about how they never, about a couple of years ago, never darkened the door of Saudi Arabia and blah blah blah, and then the money and the paydays come up and boom. Then they're there for a comedy festival. So I think they have the money to get basically anyone that they want. I think out of that comedy festival, only a couple of big names said no. So
they're looking for an NFL game now.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get the NFL to go there as well. So,
no problem. They'll get that.
Oh, they'll get it. They'll definitely get it.
Yeah. I also, before we leave Saudi Arabia, did you hear the comment from Nick Khan that he said that he figured that people would be inclined to go to WrestleMania over in fans, like regular fans would be inclined to go to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. What is he on there? I can't see that happening at all.
Some of them will.
You think?
Some wrestling fans are a little bit, how do you say, not all of them. There is some of them that are a little bit challenged, and they will just go there anyway.
They take their girlfriends with them. What is their plan?
I don't think that these people will have girlfriends. That
they probably won't have girlfriends. That's a good point.
It's going to be a record-breaking male attendance.
What a boring! You can't even drink.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's gonna be the worst trip in the world.
Yeah, all the way over there. Oh my God, no.
Yeah, I think because fans are those starting to complain about the $29.99, which is ridiculous, that ESPN app and using VPNs, as Stephanie suggested, that they're going to be less inclined to drop. I don't know, what would it be, $100,000 to go to Saudi Arabia to see WrestleMania? You got to have your head examined.
No, I think about 100,000.
I'm joking, but similar. You're 30, 40 maybe when you add the ticket.
Well, who the hell knows? The tickets are going to cost you over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, they certainly can do whatever they want. They have all the liquid assets, and they're trying to get all forms of sports and entertainment based over there. So I think your long-standing theory, Mr. Ryder, that they're going to sell to the Saudis. I think that's going to happen
Absolutely.
more and more every day.
Zero doubt. They probably already have the offer on the table.
Well, that will be a sad day, but again, support independent wrestling, and maybe another company will spring up. There certainly would be an opportunity for that. In terms of we're doing a quick hitter edition here because Mr. Ryder has business to attend to, but I thought I would end on this one with CM Punk and then a response. CM Punk went off, I guess, on Instagram, slamming fans that wait at airports and hotels, calling them stalkers, and he stated, and I quote, "We unfortunately have to have this conversation again. Do not turn up at airports. Do not show up at hotels. I cannot believe I have to say this. Do not follow people. You've been repeatedly, politely told no. Respect it. You're not a fan. You're a stalker and will be treated as such. Respect boundaries. Stop harassing people." Before I read the response, what's your take on that, Mr. Ryder?
I flash back to the Ultimate Warrior having to apologize to the 5-year-old for telling him to go F himself at the airport. I never had a problem with fans showing up at hotels. They weren't knocking on my door. They hang out in the lobby. You walk by and ask for an autograph. If Phil's ego is so large that a 12-year-old kid can't walk up and say hello to him, he should get out of the business.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, I know people that have bumped into him on the street and over in London at AEW and things like that, and he was totally fine with them. But I think the airport, should be, I'd have to agree with the airport being a kind of a no-go, because you got these, they're not normal fans that show up at the airport. They're these eBay guys with fucking 5, 10, 15, 8x10s for them to sign to sell.
Well, that's a different story, but he's just a regular fan seeing you.
No, I don't think the regular fans track planes and fucking sleep outside. I really don't think they do. I think it's these guys that are trying to make money off them.
I was in this business before Punk even had a pair of freaking wrestling boots. I have never seen anyone camp out at the airport to see anybody. They just wave to us or come up to us in the airport. They see us sitting in the bar. And there's them camped out on the sidewalk hoping one of us walks in for our flight.
But there is people that are able to track these things. Like if you, TMZ being an example, they're not after them for money, but they're like, they know when these guys are coming in from various different places. And I wonder if they're connected. I wonder if TMZ are connected with all these collectible guys to get stories out of them and piss them off. You'd never know. The media is a wild thing as well.
Well, the TMZ guys are friends with a lot of the flight attendants, and they pay them a spiff to tell them who's landing and where they're going to be. Because they know who's on the plane, so they just report ahead. I got CM Punk, or I got The Undertaker, I got whoever, and then they meet them at that gate.
Nice.
That's what they do.
Yeah, I think this is a nuanced argument somewhat, because if you look at there's a story out just this morning about some cuckoo nut job that's been thrown out of the performance center, stalking around the performance center. Now he's saying that Liv Morgan is stalking him, and there's that aspect of the obsessed fan. But I don't think, by and large, that's just like the the eBay guys or the weirdo cracked out stalkers. I don't think they're the majority. I think some legitimate fans wait to get a wrestler's autograph. Here's what Marty Jannetty said, being an old school guy. He was on a podcast recently and didn't hold back. He was asked if modern wrestlers are being too sensitive about fan interactions, especially since they work far fewer dates than previous generations. And he said even off the clock in his generation, being around the fans was part of the job. He says, it was different for me. I love being on the road. In fact, there were many times I was hurt and I wouldn't take time off. And he said that he never wanted time off because the road was home for him, and fans showing up at hotels or hanging around restaurants, he was for it. But then he said Vince McMahon himself reinforced how wrestlers are expected to always be on. And this is the quote: "When you go on the road for wrestling, There is no personal time, and Vince has told us that. You're representing 24 hours a day when you're on the road, and you kind of really are. So there's two really competing, maybe generational disparities. But what do you make of Marty's comments? Basically, while you're out there, you're fair game.
I agree with him. 100%. Absolutely. You are fair game. And again, I'll go back to the Warrior. One time he acted like an asshole. And all hell broke loose. That woman actually got to Vince McMahon. That's how serious Vince takes it. She called Titan Tower. They put Vince on the phone with her. So, yeah, he's right. You're always on, and you always have to be in character, and you always have to smile and be courteous and respectful because you're. And I get that's with every business, especially now, with everybody trying to film you and get you in trouble all the time. How many people lost their jobs because they do something stupid at a baseball game? You know what I mean? Be on your best behavior in public. Carry yourself with high standards. You won't have these problems. Percy Watson just texted me, just called me. Good old Percy.
How's he doing?
We're going to find out. I have to call him back, and we'll get him on the show here in a few weeks.
Yes.
That'd be great.
He's just in the middle of it. Percy's a good guy.
Absolutely. Where do you what do you make of Marty's comments? Fair game, fair point.
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's the very, very select few that are spoiling it for everybody else. The normal people that will see a wrestler in the airport and maybe approach him with their children or something. But there is people out there, I think, that are just trying to make money off these guys. I think that's why they get ultimately pissed off.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what happened to Rhea Ripley over it was it Europe.
That's yeah. That's creepy. Yeah, creepy guys. Creepy guys should just leave women alone.
That you gotta have. Yeah, that I would agree with Punk on. She should have bodyguard with her anyway. So.
Well, they should have had security there anyway. That's I mean, they're superstars. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, right? They should have security to look after them. But I think that it signals a shift in the company that the WWE was a family friendly, family owned company even when it went public, and now it's TKO, which is quite clearly they're not putting their fans first. They're clearly concerned about maximizing profits, and maybe this is just part of the disrespect that they have for their fan base.
Could be,
maybe.
But in terms of looking ahead, in terms of John Cena's final match, I wanted to get your. We're going to do the El Predicto portion here. Find out, do you think it's going to be Gunther, and who goes over, and then we'll follow up with that after it occurs.
I still think the Intercontinental title's on the line. So is he? He's got to wrestle Dom coming up here soon, and either take the title or beat him for it in his last match. I can't see John not passing the torch in his last match, though. Mm-hmm. And if anyone wants to give back to the business, it's him. So I think if it's Gunther gets the Intercontinental title back, which I don't think Gunther should want. He should come back for the heavyweight title. But now that Seth is hurt, maybe he will come back for that. Who knows?
Morris?
I still think it could be a blockbuster blast from the past that walks through the curtain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's certainly going to be interesting. I think he should definitely give somebody the rub, whether Gunther needs it or not. That's to be debated, but we are going to wrap it up early today because, again, Mr. Ryder's a busy guy. I just want to make one reference to an interview that we did yesterday on Ringside Riffs. We had that despicable individual, Big Daddy Derek Roy, on the show, who's facing Kingpin Medina. He had some pretty pointed comments with respect to the upcoming huge show, the follow-up show, Flex Wrestling, Finger Lakes Extreme Wrestling, Headbangers Ball, December 6th. I will be there, much to Mr. Roy's chagrin, managing Angel, and he's not going to forget the night. So if you haven't already, you're in the Northeast, Canada, Ontario, Quebec, make sure you grab your tickets at flexwrestling.com. Morris, once again, congratulations on your show. We're going to continue to follow the company and look forward to more events in the future. Final thought goes to you guys.
It's been a good show. I think Marty Jannetty had some good points there. I wrestled Marty Jannetty and took the worst rocker dropper ever next to the guy that broke his neck.
The second.
Second worst rocker dropper in history was taken by me.
And I still think what I said the last few weeks, Muhammad Hassan needs to return at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
He just might. You never know. You never Saudi Arabia. It makes me nauseous just hearing about it. But at least Sami Zayn lost the United States title, so maybe that push is coming to an end.
No, they're going to give him. They're going
The
to give
Rumble win
him
in Saudi.
all the belts now. That's what's happening there, and we're going to start that online campaign in earnest to make this happen, because I think you need to come back for one last great run and take him out.
It'd be more of a walk than a run.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I have another Ric Flair story that I was reading yesterday. He is looking for another wife, so that's the Ric Flair story for this week.
Another one? He's divorced again?
Yes, he's on the market for another wife, and he hasn't ruled out being a father again. And I'm not joking.
When did he get divorced? It just happened to him?
I don't think he was actually.
I don't think the last one was
married.
official.
Yeah.
It was just a girlfriend.
They had some kind of commitment ceremony, but I guess he learned after 7 divorces that. Well, all I got to say is best of luck to Rick. Having seen him in Philly, I'm not sure that Space Mountain is going to work anymore, but whatever. All the best to him, and why not start a family close to 80? This is the wrestling business. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We will see you again on Ryder's Rasslin Review. Thank you for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Heat Productions. Don't forget to hit the notification button, and you won't miss any of our upcoming interviews, recurring programs, or entertainment products. Thanks again.